Imagine waking up in the 1940s, a decade that began with war already reshaping ordinary life and ended in a world that looked politically, socially, and emotionally different from the one that had entered it. The 1940s are often remembered through battles and leaders, but for ordinary people, the decade was also lived through kitchens, classrooms, shelters, queues, letters, factories, and hospital wards. It was a decade where history entered the home. The 1940s were not one single experience. A family in wartime London lived differently from a farmer in rural Britain, a soldier overseas, or a family rebuilding after destruction. Modern life had become impossible to separate from global crisis. By 1940, the Second World War was not an abstract event. It was present in the newspaper, the radio broadcast, the uniform in the hallway, and the sound of aircraft overhead. The home front became a real front of its own. People adapted to routines that would have seemed extraordinary only a few years earlier. Windows were blacked out to make cities harder to target. Shelters became part of domestic life, and children carried gas mask boxes. Families listened for sirens, learning to live with interruption, fear, and waiting. War was not only fought by armies, it was endured by households. Rationing reshaped the home. In Britain, it began in 1940 and continued beyond the war for many goods. Food, clothing, and fuel had to be managed carefully through planning, saving, and queuing. A meal was not just a meal, it was budgeting, availability, and household skill. Domestic work became a form of survival. People repaired clothes, reused materials, and adapted recipes around what could be found. The idea of waste became morally serious. To throw something away carelessly was not just impractical, it could feel almost irresponsible. Hardship was real, but not evenly experienced across class and location. Work changed dramatically during the 1940s. War demanded labor on an enormous scale. Men entered military service, while women entered factories, transport, agriculture, and nursing. In Britain, women kept industries moving, serving in auxiliary organizations and munitions. While pay and opportunity remained unequal, the war exposed how dependent society was on labor that had often been undervalued. The 1940s showed that survival was not only military, it was industrial, agricultural, domestic, medical, and emotional. For children, the 1940s could be frightening and deeply formative. School continued, but many were evacuated from cities to escape bombing, separated from parents and familiar streets. For some children, evacuation brought safety and fresh air. For others, it brought loneliness, homesickness, or difficult treatment in unfamiliar homes. They learned wartime routines, from gas masks to drills. The idea of shielding children from crisis was difficult to maintain. A child in the 1940s could understand very early that the adult world was fragile. Radio was a defining technology, carrying news, speeches, and music into people's homes. Families gathered around the wireless for information, reassurance, and a sense of connection. Cinema also mattered deeply. People went for newsreels, entertainment, and escape. In a decade of anxiety, the screen offered another world, even if only for a few hours. Letters carried immense emotional weight, read and reread. Communication was faster than in earlier decades, but still slow enough for silence to become frightening. Health in the 1940s was shaped by both danger and progress. Bombing turned streets into emergency scenes, making nurses, doctors, and volunteers essential parts of public life. At the same time, medicine was changing. The rise of penicillin would transform expectations of treatment, though access and recovery were still shaped by class and circumstance. Mental strain was often endured quietly. Grief, fear, and exhaustion were not always spoken about. People were expected to carry on, and many did, but the cost was not small. Victory in 1945 brought relief and public joy. But it did not erase grief, restore health, or instantly rebuild homes. Many people returned from war changed, and cities were still in ruins. Cities had to be rebuilt, and housing shortages were severe. Families needed homes, work, and medical care. The end of war was not the end of hardship. It was the beginning of rebuilding. The late 1940s were shaped by post-war austerity. Rationing continued in Britain, and many families still lived with shortages, queues, and repairs. But the decade also brought major social change. In Britain, the welfare state expanded, and the National Health Service was launched in 1948. For ordinary people, healthcare available according to need represented a major shift in public life. The NHS did not remove every inequality, but it changed the relationship between health, money, and citizenship. After years of shared sacrifice, people expected more security than the world before. By the end of the 1940s, peace had already become complicated. The atomic bomb had changed how people imagined the future, and tensions hardened into the early Cold War. The United Nations was founded in 1945, but Europe was divided. The Berlin airlift became a symbol of a new kind of conflict. For ordinary people, the future no longer felt simply peaceful. The war was over, but fear had changed shape. The decade ended with nuclear anxiety, reconstruction, and the question of whether the modern world had become safer or only more powerful. Looking back, the 1940s can seem dominated by war, but everyday life was still made of ordinary human details. People worked, raised children, repaired clothes, and tried to keep normal life alive. The 1940s were a decade of endurance, a decade where the home became part of the war effort and where women's work, children's lives, and public health were all reshaped. By 1949, the world had changed. The war was over. The old certainties were damaged. The welfare state was growing. The Cold War had begun. And ordinary people were left to build lives in a world that had survived catastrophe but could never return to what it had been before.